The Galactic Council chamber stretched impossibly high, its crystalline walls refracting the light of a dozen suns through dimensional viewports. Representatives from 47 species sat in perfect geometric arrangements, their various forms of communication, bioluminescent patterns, pheromone clouds, telepathic wavelengths, creating a symphony of diplomatic discourse. At the center of it all, the humans sat quietly. Ambassador Zithkar of the Valorian Empire flexed his forearms, the ceremonial armor plates on his shoulders catching the ambient light. As the current council arbiter, he had overseen countless negotiations, but never one quite like this. The humans had only joined the galactic community 3 cycles ago, yet here they were, requesting mediation in a territorial dispute that had claimed 17 star systems and countless lives. "The session will now commence," Zithkar announced, his voice carrying across the chamber through universal translators. "As per ancient protocol, all weapons, enhancement devices, and military implements have been surrendered. We gather here with minds clear and intentions pure." The Vrex delegation, 8-foot-tall reptilian beings with scales that shifted color with emotion, hissed their approval. Their territorial claim stretched back millennia, supported by archaeological evidence and genealogical records that filled entire data cores. Across from them, the insectoid Kalari clicked their mandibles in rhythmic patterns, their own evidence equally compelling. Both species had brought armies of legal scholars, historians, and territorial rights experts. Mountains of evidence filled their respective sections of the chamber. The humans brought 5 people. Dr. Sarah Chen stepped forward first, her simple gray diplomatic robes in stark contrast to the elaborate ceremonial garments worn by other delegates. She carried no data pads, no holographic displays, no documentary evidence. Behind her, 4 other humans sat in comfortable silence. "Honored Arbiter," Dr. Chen began, her voice steady and clear, "we thank the Council for this opportunity to mediate this dispute. Before we examine the legal and historical precedents that both the noble Vrex and the distinguished Kalari have prepared, perhaps we might consider a different approach." Zithkar's secondary eyes focused on her with interest. In all his experience, disputes of this magnitude required cycles of evidence review, legal arguments, and careful deliberation. "Speak, human representative. Both peoples claim these systems based on historical presence and territorial rights," Dr. Chen continued, walking slowly toward the center of the chamber. "The Vrex point to their ancient spawning grounds on the 4th planet of the Kepler 442 system. The Kalari reference their ancestral hive cities in the asteroid belts of 3 separate systems. Both claims are valid. Both peoples have legitimate connections to these territories." The Vrex delegation's scales shifted to a suspicious orange. The Kalari's clicking grew agitated. Where were the legal arguments? The counter-evidence? The formal rebuttals? "But," Dr. Chen said, and something in her tone made the entire chamber fall silent. "Neither claim addresses the fundamental question. What do these places mean to you now?" She turned to face the Vrex delegation. "Commander Theclon, you mentioned that Kepler 442-4 contains the spawning pools where your great-great-grandfather first drew breath. Tell us about him." The massive Vrex commander's scales rippled with confusion. What bearing does this have on territorial law?" "Humor me," Dr. Chen said gently. Teclon's chest expanded as he prepared for what he clearly considered a pointless digression. Grokvar the Bold was a warrior poet who led the 3rd Fleet against the Shadow Raiders. His writings about the sacred waters of our homeworld inspired my people for 6 generations. And what did he write about those waters that inspired them so? Despite himself, Teclon's scales began shifting to a softer blue, the color of reverence among his kind. He wrote that the pools reflected not just starlight, but the souls of all Vrex who came before and all who would come after. That each spawn was a promise to carry forward the wisdom of those who struggled so that we might flourish. Dr. Chen nodded thoughtfully, then turned to the Kalari delegation. "Hive Mother Kriach, your people speak of the great asteroids as sacred hive spaces. What makes them sacred?" The insectoid leader's antennae twitched with irritation. They are the first places where our people achieved unity consciousness, where individual minds learned to blend into the greater hive mind that defines us. And why was that important? Because... Kriach paused, her clicking softening. Because before unity, we were scattered, afraid, small. The asteroids taught us that many minds working as one could achieve what no individual ever could. They represent the birth of our true selves. The chamber remained silent as Dr. Chen walked back to the center. So we have spawning pools that connect the Vrex to their ancestors' wisdom and their children's future, and asteroid hives that represent the Kalari's journey from isolation to unity. Both sacred, both irreplaceable, both necessary. She stopped walking and faced the assembled delegates. The legal question is who owns these places, but perhaps the real question is, what if they belonged to everyone? Zithkar's 4 arms tensed. Human, you propose shared ownership? The logistics alone? No, Dr. Chen interrupted gently. I propose shared stewardship. Commander Theclon, what if Kalari hive ships helped protect your spawning pools? Their unity consciousness could monitor water quality, seasonal changes, potential threats with an efficiency no single species could match. She turned to Kriach. Hive Mother, what if Vrex warrior poets helped guard your sacred asteroids? Their deep connection to ancestral wisdom could ensure that the memory of your unity remains pure, protected by beings who understand the weight of carrying forward sacred trust. The chamber erupted in various forms of diplomatic chatter. The idea was unprecedented. Territorial disputes were zero-sum games, winners and losers, claims and counterclaims. Dr. Chen raised her hand and somehow the chaos subsided. Every species here has treasures they would die to protect. Sacred places, holy memories, irreplaceable connections to who they are. But we've been thinking about protection all wrong. She gestured toward the viewports showing the contested star systems. Out there, in the dark between stars, are forces that would destroy everything we hold dear. Pirates, raiders, cosmic phenomena that care nothing for our borders or our claims. The Vrex are mighty warriors, but they cannot guard spawning pools and patrol vast territories simultaneously. The Kalari have incredible collective intelligence, but unity consciousness requires safe spaces to flourish. The human delegation rose as one, standing behind their ambassador. We humans have a saying. It takes a village to raise a child. Perhaps it takes a galaxy to protect what makes each species whole. Dr. Chen's final words fell into profound silence. The question isn't who these places belong to. The question is, what are we willing to sacrifice to keep them safe? And what are we willing to share to make them stronger? Zithkar found himself leaning forward, all 4 arms now relaxed. Around the chamber, delegates who had arrived, prepared for legal warfare, were instead contemplating something entirely different. Collaboration born not from law, but from understanding. The humans had brought no weapons to the summit, but their words had cut through millennia of territorial thinking and revealed something sharper than any blade, the recognition that true strength came not from what you could claim, but from what you were willing to protect together. The vote, when it came, was unanimous.